Welcome to Coley Crowns. I'm Ashante.
And I'm Lori, and welcome to our Queendom. Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome to the Coley Crowns. On today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Nine Perfect Strangers, the limited series that was on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a previous video where we actually reviewed, gave our feedback, what we thought of the book itself. And then now we're comparing it to the movie. So before we get started, though, be sure that you like, subscribe, and share our videos. Watch our previous review of the book. And before we get started, Laura, you had a message for the people?
Please help us with our
Ah,
campaign to
yes.
get at least 100 subscribers this year. We're currently at 63, so I know we can do it. So if you're watching this video, just hit the subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. So it just helps us in the long run. So press that bell. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. Thank you. So let's get started in reviewing this limited series of Nine Perfect Strangers. There were, what, 8 episodes?
Yeah, so this mini series or limited series is based on a book written by Liane Moriarty. And I don't remember when this book came out. Was it last year? Or maybe a couple years ago now. We just read it at the beginning of the summer.
December. Mm-hmm.
So we did a review after my friend got me into it. Then I got Ashante into it. And I was like, oh, you got to read this crazy book, right? And this is not like a book that she typically writes, but it's basically about 9 people that come to a resort for like healing and relaxation. Um, and they,
Self-discovery, all that kind of stuff.
yeah. So, and about how the owner of this retreat, along with her workers, do something to these 9 people that come to this retreat and what happens. So, that's the gist of the book. Go back and watch our review of the book itself, because we're just going to deep do a deep dive into the comparison between the book and the limited series.
Yes. So I guess setting that set it up. One of the big differences was in the book, it was in Australia. So the author is Australian. So that's one difference because in the series, they're in America or American
Right.
characters, except for the main character, which we'll talk about. So that's one, I guess, setting a difference that we'll add and make sure
Yes.
that we mention. The same characters are in the book. There's a little difference about certain things. So again, talking about setting with being the book in Australia and here in America, one of the characters is a football player. So Australia, right? Football is what we call soccer here. And here in the limited series, that character actually was a football player. So and y'all forgive me, I don't go on blank on what these character names were. What's his name? That was
Tony?
Tony. There you go. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll come back to me as we start talking, but right now that I just drew a blank. So Tony is the character I'm talking about there. So he's a former football player who is addicted to some painkillers. His body is taking a beating with playing professional football. And I guess his reasoning of coming to the resort was to help get off the drugs and reclaim his life. He had
Wasn't
basically
he wanted to withdraw, or he just wanted to just get away because he was angry? He was very angry and aggressive all the time. But I didn't think he wanted to get off the drugs.
I thought like one of those subconscious things, like that was part of it. Like, okay, if I get to unmasking some of the things that are happening, and then maybe that would
Oh,
occur.
so he wouldn't need the drugs. He thought
Yeah,
he would be able to wean himself off, but I know he didn't go there for no
not it
to get
wasn't
off
a
the drugs.
rehab. Yeah, no, it wasn't
Right.
rehab to get off, but I think there was definitely he knows there were some internal things that he was dealing with that would hopefully um lead him to get off, because he definitely was suppressing a lot of what he was going through with, self-medicating. So yeah, some of it was actual physical pain that he had, but he definitely was also using it to self-medicate. But he wasn't like just like, here you go, take my drugs, because he was like, where my stuff at? Y'all don't took all my things. Which happened to everybody. When they came in, they took all their luggage and went through and took away drugs, alcohol,
Everything.
phones.
You weren't supposed to have any electronics, no books, no alcohol, nothing. You were supposed to, everything was supposed to be given to you at the retreat. So you're
There's a
supposed to come with
health part
clothes.
to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's back up. What was your overall thought of the limited series in comparison to the book?
Oh, go get right there. Okay.
Well, because then we're going to go through every single character. It's going to be a lot. So I'm thinking like big picture, how
Okay.
did you feel with that?
I did not care for it. I preferred the book than I did the movie itself. And I know you can't just translate book right into a movie, it doesn't work like that, but it was just some very such differences that I was just like, huh? Like it just I kind of struggled to get through this series. I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna finish it because we said we were gonna do it, and we had a lot of interest in our review of the book, and
Right.
so like, okay, I'll suffer through it, but it was not.
Yeah. I it's always interesting the way how they translate, a book into, an adaptation in a movie form or limited series or TV show. Because it's like they still want something for you to look forward to. If they just do word for word what's in the book and put it in the TV, then you're like, oh, I already know what's going to happen, whatever. So there's some surprises, there's some changes and some differences. I thought it was shot very beautifully. I loved all of the scenic, yeah, like views. I love the trees and the just picturesque, the way how everything was described in the book of how beautiful the place was, to me was translated really, really well visually. But the characters, to me, were not believable for everybody. I think I really only believed two characters. And one of the characters to me was Melissa McCarthy as Frances. I believed her character. And I believed, I don't know her real name. Ooh, I believe Heather. We'll find out what her real name is. So Heather was one of the Heather Marconi.
The mom.
The mom. I believed her pain. Every time they showed her son or whatever, I believed her for the most part when I saw her there. Everybody else, I was just like, what? I felt like
I agree on those two.
It.
I agree on those two. And I think the husband, Heather's husband.
Oh, you thought so?
Yeah, I like totally saw his characters like this teacher. And I just totally could see, like, I see a teacher acting like that, the one is trying to be all kind of like cool, but really not cool. And I totally saw him. I could see a little bit of the Tony character, the guy that played him, a little bit. But like the most believable are the two that you named.
Those are the ones when I watched their scenes, I was like kind of in it. You know what I mean? Everybody else, I was just like, oh, okay, all right, sure. And one of my other things that I really did not like about this series, I felt like the Black characters weren't really Black. And I know Black people are not a monolith. I know we have differences, but it just seemed like they took white characters from the book and kind of played those white characters on screen. I didn't feel any energy to say, okay, these are Black characters. I understand where they're coming from. I don't know what was going on with Carmel.
Oh my God.
Then there was nothing that I felt like, oh, okay, yeah, that feels like somebody from my culture, you know what I mean? Or Delilah. I was confused with Delilah for some of this as well. So I was just like,
Yeah, like if you're gonna have to translate from the book to the movie, you already had to make so many differences. Those are small differences they could have made to instead of just like, okay, you're playing this character, that's it. Like even with Carmel's character that was totally different from the book, there's little things they could have done to, as you said, and make it more authentic to who that
yeah,
person they were playing. But they really did just kind of say, okay, you're playing this person, you're black, or we see you, you're a black person, but everything else, you're really the white character
yeah,
from the book.
yeah. I was a little disappointed in that, and
Mm.
maybe that was just.
So,
I'm,
so
Go
did you
ahead.
say overall what your impression
No,
was?
so
Just
I just wanted to say the good and the bad. Overall, I thought the book was much better. And big shocker there. That's usually how it goes, is that the book is better. It gives you a lot more details. I think we listened to it, and I think the book was like 11 hours, 12
That's
hours.
long, yeah.
So it's a lot of detail that you get, but there's a lot of buildup there where you're just like, wait, what, huh? And here the buildup came. So the way how the limited series was released, it was 3 episodes at a time, or the first
I
set.
think they did like 3 episodes the first week, and then every week after it's like one, something
Okay,
like that.
so at the end of the first set, they know. So this is a spoiler. I'm sorry, we should have said that.
Oh yeah, throughout.
We'll put it in the title. But after the first set of the three first episodes, they discover that they are being drugged, right? And
Mm-hmm.
in the book, by the time they figure out they're being drugged, they're
Like,
already in a situation where they cannot get out. This limited series was like, no, you're gonna find out that you're being drugged like on day
mm-hmm.
2 or day 3, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just going to have the choice to say, do you want to stay and continue to be drugged, or do you want to go home? And everybody was like, yeah, I want to stay and be drugged. Everybody, not one character was like, nah, this is not for me. Not one, nobody.
And they really hadn't had no kind of like
Epiphany, like big thing that happened.
right to be like, okay, this is working, let me stay. Right. Like in the book, it was almost halfway through the book when you find out, and they already had started seeing some change and differences that you're kind of like, well, I'm already seeing the effects of it. It seems to be
Right.
working, so I will
Right.
stay and
But
continue.
they never had that chance. In the book, they were already in the cave where they were going to be locked into. So in the book, for those who haven't read it, they go to this like final exercise, and they go into this cave or dungeon or do whatever. And that's when they discover, whoa, I'm really not feeling good today. And Heather is a nurse, and she's like, something is wrong with us. Like, I don't feel right. So she says to the owner, Masha, hey, have you been doing something to us? Like, what is in these smoothies or whatever? She's just like, yeah, I've been drugging you guys. And they're like, what? And they start losing their minds, saying, how could you do this to us? But they're already tripping. Okay. And then they end up leaving them in there and locking them in. So they didn't have a choice to say, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to leave. And this is like once they got that final dose of like because she's increasingly up their
Microdose.
medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, she starts in microdose.
So this is just weird to me that they're just like, yeah, sure, no problem that you're drugging us without our consent. And now they're saying, okay, do you consent to continuing? And now she has their consent. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was weird that they would do that change. And I'm wondering if it's like at the end of the book, she does these retreats like on purpose. Like people know that she drugs you. Like,
Because
so
this
they
was the
go to,
first time that she was doing it. This was a new
right.
that they were doing the microdosing.
So I thought it was interesting that the mini series looks like they were exploring what if there was something like this that you can go to, that you know you're going to be drugged and you're going to have this experience. To me, that was like the continuation of the book, that you go to somewhere and you're like, I'm all in, give me more drugs. I'm enjoying this, because I just didn't think that was believable that they went there. They're all like headstrong individuals. They're not, you know, weaklings or people that are very passive. They're strong, like strong willed, that they would just be like, yes, give me more. And they didn't even know what it was. I didn't like that. So overall, yes, no.
Yes, no.
Yeah, no. I agree with you. Yes. No, this limited series was not what I thought it was going to be.
Okay. Well, so let's then go through, I guess, the different characters, which I
Yes.
started with Tony, and then
Yes.
kind of compare of the difference between the book and the movie, what we like, we didn't like, the differences. So as we said, this is spoiler alert. We're going to be giving it all. Hopefully you've watched it by now.
I think Tony's depiction was like exact. Did you feel like there was any changes with him?
Not no. Everything to me, how they described him in the book, of being kind of the old rundown football
Angry.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah, angry, trying to hide. He, did not want to be seen. So he, like, I guess, grew the beard and had this hat
Yeah.
on to try to like hide so people wouldn't know who he was. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually, somebody did recognize him and knew who he was. The guy that played him, I thought did a decent job, in playing the character itself. But there was no like big differences between him and the book, the character in the book.
No. What about Francis? How do you think that went?
I Melissa McCarthy did a great job, like we mentioned, in playing the character. Pretty much Zach of what we read in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they could have maybe went a little deeper into kind of like what happened with the guy, um, which is one of the reasons that she kind of ended up there. So she got scammed basically by this guy who she fell in love with, never met, online and all that. He said he had a son who got sick and he needed money, and she gave the money, and turned out, he wasn't real. I feel like they could have kind of got into that story a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But being the movie, the visuals that they did have with that character, like they actually showed someone playing him.
Mm-hmm.
The part when she was like beating the thing to get the aggression out, I thought that was cool, because that part you don't really see. I guess for me, I couldn't, like when you read a book, you kind of picture the character. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
couldn't do that for the scammer in the book, but here, having that visual, I was like, oh yeah, that like seemed like exactly what the guy would look like. Like, that looks perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my overall impression for her.
I think the only difference was when she was under the psychedelics, she wasn't thinking about the scammer. She was thinking about her best friend and something else, which I like this much better. I do like this. Is finally something I like better. I like that the whole focus was about her being scammed, because it was in the book, it was about her being scammed. It was about her book not going to be published or getting a bad review. And it was like her best friend who died. But this one is like really focused on the scamming piece of it, and something with her book, like she's being tone deaf and she's kind of like losing her focus of being a good writer. So I like that focus on this. I guess the healing part of this whole retreat for her was her falling in love with Tony. So if that doesn't happen, I don't know what healing she would have gonna get from this thing. Like, I didn't see a trajectory or anything happening for her other than that piece of it.
Yeah. That was
So
it.
if he wasn't there, she would probably be leaving the same way that she came. So at least for Tony, him coming there, getting off the drugs and kind of finding peace, he got that from the retreat. I don't know what Francis got from there other than a new man. So
I mean, getting some of the aggression out of being played like that, maybe, and maybe realizing it wasn't like totally her fault.
but it didn't, I don't know, it never got a finality.
It didn't. It's like they touched on it, which like I feel like they
yeah.
could have did a little bit more deep dive into that. Like, why did she feel so in the book, right? She had been married 2 or 3 times before. They didn't mention that in the movie. I don't, or the show, I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Mentioning that. So, it kind of leads to why she would get scammed. Okay, she's had these failed relationships. She's someone who just desperately wants to be loved. And so but you don't get any of that with this in the series with this character. So, like you said, the only thing that kind of came out of this for her was Tony meeting him and being able to start developing a relationship with him. Which he needed as well, right? Because he really needed someone to love and get that reciprocated. So
yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's Tony and Francis. So what about, you want to talk about Lars?
The book, Lars needed to be there. This TV show, Lars could have been gone. I would not have noticed if that character didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like a totally different character. Like the only thing that was the same was about this relationship with Ray and having a baby. That was it. His job was different. His motivation for being there was different. His friendships and connections were different because he was connecting with oh my god,
daughter.
Zoe and Carmel, and I'm like, what is happening here? I don't know what's going on with Lars. I don't know.
Yeah, Lars, that whole character, for the series, they could have kept him out. He needed to be there because he's one of the strangers, but it was just like Lori said, it was just totally different. He was a lawyer in the book. Here he's this reporter.
And then Masha is using him to say, document it, write about it, ask questions. And so he has his own ulterior motive of why he was there, because previously they had a retreat there and she tried something with this person or those people and somebody died.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I guess this is not the first time that they've done this in the limited series. Something else happened. Like I don't know if they've attempted something.
I couldn't tell if it was why the person died. I thought it was like a heart attack, but was it related to the drugs that she did this before? Or was it
seemed like it because else? Delilah was nervous. Delilah was like, why are you doing this again? She's trying this again. So that's why I'm wondering if maybe they tried it differently this time, where they're like, let's start with smaller doses and then get there. Maybe she just did a huge, like a big dose. Mm-hmm. One time. So maybe that was the issue, because it seemed like Delilah was like, I can't do this again. You know what I mean? So they must have attempted to do something like this previously.
Yeah. Okay.
But so that's why Lars even makes it there, because the family contacted him and wanted him to do a story on the retreat. And I guess Masha knew, because Masha handpicks everybody to come to the retreat. So I don't know. It was just a weird outlier weirdness. I don't have anything else for Lars.
Okay, next.
Okay, so I'm trying to think who else is. I don't want to talk about the Marconis yet. Let's talk about Ben and Jessica.
They need to be in this series either. Like,
Wait, my favorite scene is when her nose fell off.
oh, she was trying to.
This girl, first of all, they were not being drugged at all. What is happening? Why weren't they being drugged at all? And everybody else was being drugged. Okay. I don't know why the reporter would need to be drugged more than Ben and Jessica. Okay. So when they find out they're being drugged, they tell them, "Oh, you're not being drugged." And they're like, "Why not?" Like, I want some. Give me the drug.
You gonna give it to everybody else and not give it to us? Like,
and Ben was like, "Nah, I'm good." He's like, "No, we need this." And they're like, "Well, we can give you something different. You don't need this drug, you need that drug." And I was like, "What?" So they go on ecstasy, and so they can get all lovey-dovey. So they're on ecstasy. So now their relationship is better because that was what they went there for, to get connected. And I don't understand how she was on ecstasy and then her nose fell off. Like, did they mess up on that? I don't know. But she was in the mirror. She was just like, she had a zit and she was trying to squeeze it and the whole nose fell off. I was dying. And she was screaming like, "Oh, wait, my nose." And he's like, "It's there. I promise it's there. Look, feel it. It's oh my goodness."
yeah, so, that was probably the most excitement with that couple on this series.
That was it.
They were so boring. Oh, what's the other one?
The end.
Oh,
they were the ones that took over Tranquillum House.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna bring it up later. I was like, wait, what? Them two? Like, yeah. So differences, right? The book, there are this couple who are having issues. They won the lottery, so they have all this money. She has gone and got all this work done, and she's trying to be, you know, one of those social media influencers, or she is one. So everything is about documenting it, taking pictures, and putting it on social media.
Yeah.
Ben is much more reserved. He's kind of like, money has really changed her, not even us, him, but it really has changed her. She's not who he fell in love with, and all of that. And so that's part of, you know, the reason they go to the retreat. Here in the show, same thing.
But in the book, they also dig into his sister being a drug addict.
Yes.
And always coming to them for money. And the one time they said no, she ends up getting an overdose and dying. And so it causes this rift, like, in their marriage, that he's always trying to help people. She's trying to, you know, be a little bit stronger and say she needs to, you know, fix herself, basically. And that causes something. So it makes their characters a little bit more deeper than just, my husband's not attracted to me, we won the lotto, and I feel like I want to go back to work.
It was so superficial with this. In the show part. It was like, well, what's the issue? Y'all just having the marriage just not working? Yeah. Like it was a lot more they could have really brought out of those characters that they didn't. I mean, even they really still focus on just the money, right, from the book, and not the sister and her drug issues. The money really was a big part of the issue they were having, and they didn't really talk about that in this show,
or about her, like how she is, like how she's changed, how, like, it just didn't have a lot of substance there. They were like this little tiny undercurrent of a character, and then to end the show with, oh, now they've taken over. And I just was just like, so that means they're just on ecstasy full time then, because if they get off of it, they're not gonna like each other.
Because when they showed those two and they were taking over, I was like, what? I was like, why?
At first I thought they were taking over for Yao and Delilah, but no, they are the ones, like, this is theirs, it seems like.
Even with Yao and Delilah, I still was like, what?
They just talk about them too. I was just like, Ben and Jessica, It could have been Six Perfect Strangers.
Six, I was just about to say, let me see, they didn't
Oh,
need those
five.
two,
Then
they
you
didn't
try
need
to get rid of
ours.
ours too.
Five, they could have did five. I was just thinking that, Lori. I was waiting to put it in there, but you
I'm
beat me
sorry.
to it.
Yeah, I don't have nothing else on there. I just thought about her nose falling off, and I thought that was hilarious.
I'll just add to the whole Ben character. The guy who plays him, his name is Melvin Gregg.
Melvin Gregg. Mm-hmm.
I know him as Man Boy from the FS show Snowfall, which I actually liked him in that show. But this character, I guess it's the character. You only can do so much with what you're given. I was just like, this dude is so boring. There was no like it just did not seem like it was a challenging acting role from him. Like anybody could have just played this role.
Yeah.
There was no kind of emotional up it was just kind of like, I'm here. Yeah. My name's Ben. Yeah. Welcome, Truth. I'm just like,
Yeah.
it was not a great role for him. And maybe because it was a new role to, continue to get his name out there, he took it. But like I was just like, I was kind of was looking for more from him, being that I've seen him in some other work.
Yeah.
So I just was not excited about that portrayal in this role. Okay. So now to the Marconis, or you
I
want to
was
save
going to
them
talk
for
about
that?
Delilah, because the Marconis and Carmel, to me, have the biggest roles in this show.
Okay.
It was about them, right? Masha's probably right below them, because we still didn't get, she was missing a lot.
So
that the book kind of made you like, oh, okay.
I sympathize a little bit with it.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Delilah and Yao, and Glory, because Glory disappeared. Nobody know what Glory is. I don't know. She never came back up after she locked.
She locked.
What happened to Glory?
Yeah.
Where's Glory?
Still there making smoothies with Ben, and she just went ahead for a little bit.
Okay, so Delilah and Yao are the people that help Masha on the retreat, right? So Yao knows Masha because he saved her life, because he was the paramedic that revived her after she was shot. And so Masha got him into this cult that she created. And Delilah, I don't know how Delilah got there. Where'd Delilah come from? Did she have a backstory?
I don't remember.
Delilah had no backstory. Delilah was just
there. Yeah.
She was just there. There was no nothing. So she and Yao are in a relationship, right? And
yeah, some kind of relationship.
are in a relationship. Yao and Masha are in a relationship. Okay. And then Delilah and Masha
are in a relationship.
This is how you start a cult, ladies.
It's a threesome. Yeah.
Okay, you just get random people in there, you sleeping with all of them. Everybody's sleeping with everybody. Apparently, Yao doesn't know that Delilah and Masha are sleeping together.
That's something. Yeah.
Okay, but Delilah knows Masha and Yao are sleeping together. Masha knows Yao and Delilah are together. Too much. Where is Glory? What is Glory? Glory got nothing to do with nothing. So,
Glory might be involved in that too.
So maybe
she's there for a reason.
Yeah. So they help her, Masha, do all her little things. They have this protocol. I thought it was a little strange how Delilah was talking to Masha, until I guess this was before I realized they were in a relationship. So that's probably why she was able to talk to her kind of crazy. Like, you don't do nothing without me. You got to do things according to the protocol. She was like, kind of, to me, if Masha owns everything, I'm surprised that Delilah has so much to say. But then we discover it's because Delilah was traumatized by the person who died at the previous retreat. And so Masha was just like, oh my gosh, sorry that happened to you. We'll do things right. It seems like, and Delilah's like, oh no, this thing's getting off the rails. This is too much.
Gotta go.
So she starts losing her tranquilness because she let people out. She told people get out the pool. She started losing that. Like they have like this like affect, like like everything is good.
Calm voice, yeah.
Come over here. Make sure you do this. And a couple times she snapped like, oh, if you don't get over here, stop talking like that. She done threw F-bombs, all kinds of stuff. And I was like, okay, Delilah, what's going on? So she's stressed because she's trying to get Yao, hey, we got to go. Masha's losing her mind. I'm trying to tell her she needs to focus on the protocol we discussed, and she's going off the rails doing her own thing. And Yao was like, well, no, we can't leave. The guests need us. If you're saying she's going off the rails, we can't just leave these people here. We need to just finish it out, and then we can leave. And she was just like, no, I'm not going to do this. Okay. So basically, she packs up her stuff. In the book, she runs off with Ben's Lamborghini. I like that better because they never found her. She did not go to the police. She ran. She was like, I'm out of here. In the limited series, she goes to the gate. Masha tries to lock her in. She said, we're under lockdown and will not release her.
I'm at the gate.
So she tries the first tactic. Hi, Masha. I would like to go. And she's like, huh? Masha, I would like to go outside the gate. Can you open the gate, please? It's like, no, we're under lockdown. I would really like to leave, like now. No. Okay. And this whole conversation is happening in front of Francis and Tony, and they're still like loop-de-loo with these drugs. Like, sounds like something's happening. It's not good. Let's go over here and go sit down somewhere. What? So there's no urgency, no alarm. Delilah busts through the gate or the fence.
What fence part?
She's out going to the police, okay? Because she's just like, this is too much. Yeah, so that's her story.
Messing people back up again.
Anything I missed with Delilah?
I was just gonna say that I felt compared to the book, they gave her a much bigger role here, whereas the opposite, Zhao had a much bigger role in the book. Here he was really like, I don't know, a third character, you know what I mean? Like he could have been a Glory. Like he was just there. He had so much more of an important role within the book than he did in this series. But okay, they changed it. I thought the girl who played her, Tiffany Boone, I thought she did a good job playing the role that she had. But those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know.
The craziness, we're about to get to the main character.
Yeah, we're just going through these people. So Yao, I don't know, Yao. He just seems like, I don't know. It's like he was seeing things, but he was so enamored with Masha that he just couldn't see wrong in her. So he just did anything that she wanted him to do, basically. If she said this, he would do that. Even if he felt like, because you could tell he wasn't 100% on board with everything, but he did it. So that's why I said they were in a cult. He was just like, okay, we'll do it. So, I mean, so many people like lost it. And I'll be like, that's my tap out. Like, I got to go. And he was just like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep going. We'll do it. So those are those characters. So do you want to do, so now the Marconis, can we do that one?
Say Marsha for last, or talk about one, or we're gonna intertwine all of it?
I don't know.
Okay, we can start with the Marconis, and then everybody will be in and out, basically. Yeah, they all kind of now are connected.
Yeah, now they kind of are. So the Marconis, husband, wife, daughter, go to the retreat because their son, or the couple's son, committed suicide like a year ago or 2 years ago. And so the daughter is celebrating her 21st birthday, and that was her twin. So that means it's also
would have been his
son's 21st birthday. Okay, so they go there. They haven't been able to get back into the same space as they were before. They were disconnected. They've gone through counseling. So they really wanted to try something different. And so they were able to look up the retreat. Masha brought them in on a discount because this is really expensive. So they were like really grateful that they can go. And they were like really invested in doing everything that they could to, you know, be a part of the process. So so the daughter, Zoe, starts seeing Zach almost immediately. Like maybe the second day, she starts seeing visions of him. And she was just like, okay, this is weird. But she didn't tell anybody. I think maybe she told Lars, where in the book, she told Francis. Her and Francis had a relationship, not Lars. So now it changed. So she saw him. And then as they increase the dosage, everybody will start getting glimpses of Zach.
To all of them. Yeah.
Zach is the son's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they all start getting glimpses of him. So they're thinking it's because of the drugs that they actually get to see him. But it was so weird because every time they saw him, it was like a bad experience. So I was surprised that they still wanted to keep doing this.
Yeah, this part I was actually confused on exactly what was happening because it was they each was seeing him, but it was like they all were seeing him at the same time. And I was like,
at the end, when they did that big one, they all saw him at the same time. But at the beginning,
it was like
it was just Zoe, then Heather, and then he didn't what is his name? Napoleon didn't see Zach at all. He said all he saw were like flickers of the day, and he heard the alarm, but he didn't see him. It wasn't until his like nose was bleeding. It was just so much extraness that I was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
He needs help. Take him to a doctor.
But nosebleed.
Okay. He's like, it's in my mouth. So they all wanted to see him because they needed closure, because it was like
they all felt like it was their fault on why he ended up committing suicide. And so they all were individually trying to deal with, you know, what happened and kind of like apologize, I guess, to him for not doing more. But yeah, so they each felt like it was their fault of what happened to the son that led to his suicide. So they of any group of people that were there, they were the ones that needed this retreat the most. And at the end, I guess we'll kind of talk our way through. It did work for them, you know, but Lord, what they had to go through to get there. But they were the group that needed this the most. And it did, I think, help them.
So let me look at my notes, because I was very confused on why Masha was so intent on giving them this high dosage of drugs to see their son, right? In order for her to see her daughter. So like Ashante said, it's going to be all interwoven with this last group, okay? Because Masha lost her daughter at the age of 12.
Oh, I thought she was younger than that.
4, 3. Okay, so she's
a young girl on a bicycle. She got hit by a bike and she unfortunately died. Yes.
So she lost her daughter and she's never been able to see her, even on the drugs or whatever. She's never been able to see her like how Zoe described to her, right? Because she went up to Zoe like, oh, do you see him? Like she was all like excited about this prospect. She's like, yeah, I see him. So she was like, oh, maybe this works. You know what I mean? So I don't know why she was so like pushing them to do it. Why don't you just take the drugs so you can try to figure out how to see her yourself? I was so confused with what this meant for her. But it did work. So I guess she just felt like she needed more people in there, more energy. I don't
Energy. I was about to say.
I was just like, girl, do this yourself. Go lock
Yeah,
your.
I feel like she was using these people as tests, right, to test it out on them. And then when it was like, oh, okay, it's working, then okay, let me take it myself and try to
Yeah, I just don't know why she
experience
couldn't
it.
have done that. She could have went in that little saltwater tank and took the drugs and found her daughter. I was confused with that at all. But okay. I don't know. But that's basically the gist for the Marconis. I'm surprised that they took this drug. I'm surprised they had their daughter take the drug. I was confused on why Lars was saying he didn't say anything until they were already drinking it that Masha's off her rocker and that somebody died there before. You were there when they were deciding that they don't want to do this. Why you ain't say it there before they downed it? I don't understand. So I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in my notes. Terrible.
With those three, um,
Yeah, that's all I have for them.
yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, yeah, I can't think of anything else. Zoe, yeah, she was kind of feeling, her first, I think it was the first birthday without him. So yeah, I think so it would have been within the year that he passed, and it was their 21st birthday. Um, so she was feeling kind of guilty because they were playing some kind of game where they just went and talked to each other, and she felt bad because she said she
Yeah.
should have said something to him, and that's why he decided to commit suicide. Then the mom was feeling guilty because, well, I forgot this part. So she was supposed to give him his medicine. So I think he already had some mental illness,
No, it was
right?
asthma.
It was
So he
asthma.
had
Oh,
asthma medicine, and Napoleon was like, she checks everything, like ingredients on food and whatever. So if she would have saw that it had a side effect of suicide ideation, I think that's what they called it, then she would have never had him take that drug. So the fact that she did, Napoleon said that's something I can never forgive because that was her lane. Like, this is what you do. I don't read that stuff. You read this stuff. So why did you have our son take that if it
so
had?
what was it in the book then? Because why I'm thinking in the book, did he have something? He was supposed to be taking some medicine too, or the same kind of.
I think it was the same kind of stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if it was asthma, but it was not mental health. It was that they were saying that this drug actually caused him to commit suicide.
Okay. Okay. And then the dad, his issue was he normally gets up and go check on them, the kids and his son. And that morning he hit the snooze and fell, slept in late. And so if he would have gotten up, he hope maybe he would have like saved him and he wouldn't have committed suicide. So that was the guilt that each three of them were kind of carrying. And so at the big rendezvous that they had in the drugs, they each were getting to see him and talk to him, and he let them know it was not any of their fault. It was just a very irrational, spontaneous decision on his part to take his life. So, and did they show them at the end afterwards? Like
Yeah,
I
they
can't
were
remember.
driving away.
Just driving away. Okay.
Just like, I feel better.
Okay. I don't really remember anything after that rendezvous.
That's another thing that's different from the book and the series. The book kind of has this long couple of years epilogue of what happened and how
Afterwards.
at the time nobody thought that this actually worked. In the series, everybody's like, this worked, this is great, feel better. Everybody left it like, this is crazy, the most craziest thing I've ever had to experience. This is horrible. But then over time, you were like, oh, maybe that did work. The relationships that formed afterwards, people did end up changing because of the experience.
Right.
All this stuff was happening, but it was like a long-term kind of effect that happened. So I kind of like that piece of it, is that immediately they didn't see this miraculous change. It was like, wow, that situation that I was put in actually caused me to change my ways long term. So I thought that was nice. Okay.
To the crazy part. I did not see this coming.
I was still confused, so we're gonna talk about it. So while Masha is doing this huge drugging session with the Marconis, she is also in a battle with this person that has been sending her threats since these guests have come in there, right? They're leaving it on her mirror, they're leaving it all over, they're sending her notes, text messages, whatever, right? So so then we have Carmel. Carmel is there because her husband left her with 4 kids, moved on with this other lady, and is traveling in Italy. And now she's here by herself to lose weight and to calm down. Okay. She is crazy. And now I understand why Regina picked this role, because this is like, it actually has a good role. In the book, Carmel is like right here. She's not a main character, right? So they made her this main character. Ciao. When she came and she was so mad at Lars, and she snapped at Lars and dove over the table and choked him, I was like,
wait, is this a dream sequence or something?
What is going on? Why is she so angry? Okay. And so then she does the same thing to Masha. She like runs across the field and just dives in and just starts hitting her. And Masha's like, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine.
But even before then, did she have another moment where she kind of like snapped? I feel like it was a couple moments that
but those were the big ones. Because she was mad at Jessica, because I guess Jessica reminded her of like the superficials,
like
whatever, who would come take her husband. She was mad at Tony. I don't think she was ever mad at Francis or the Marconis, but she had this weird up and down. Like, she was like, hey guys, yeah, I'm so excited. And then she would just turn into a crazy. Oh, the fork, where she stabbed her fork into the table. I was just like,
there was these moments she just snapped, and then it would be like she comes right back, like, oh my gosh, did I do that? Like it was like, what? This lady is crazy. Like,
and she just sits there, and it looks like she's losing it. And Francis was just like, we're all getting better, but it just doesn't seem like you're okay, Carmel. It looks like you're getting worse. She was just like, really? You think so? Yes, girl, you're crazy.
That character was crazy. So as Lori just said, she done tried to choke out a couple people, including Marsha. And then we find out after that scene,
so they lock her in her room, right? Because they're like, this. Wait, no.
This after
we find out that. Is that what you were gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
Why their relationship? Okay, go ahead. I thought they had locked her in before, but it was already like they already knew.
Yeah, it was after this part.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so after she's choking Marsha out in the green, they go back into like the office, Marsha's office, because at certain times she's meet individually with each person, right? And so this kind of becomes the time she gets to meet with her. Child finds out that she knew who Carmel was the whole time because she slept with Carmel's husband.
And Carmel knew Masha from before this retreat.
Yes, because she knew she slept with her husband. And it was like, where did that come from?
And she's like, I'm so sorry. No, but Carmel is apologizing. Are you mad at me? that I came here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get to know you. She's like, no, I should be apologizing to you. I slept with your husband. I was a terrible person. She's like, but no, I just wanted to see how you were. I just wanted to see what was wrong with me. And she was just like, okay. I don't understand. I was so confused by that. I was like, oh.
At this point, that's why I just got all confused with these two. Because I'm like, this don't make no sense. You came here, you know the lady slept with your husband. You come here and then you acting like everything is like okay. And Marsha knows who you are, and she's even like acting like it's all okay. Something ain't right here. So then, as Lori said, they end up locking her in her little room. She starts having a little fit in the room, right?
Dancing to Xanadu.
Yeah, just going. Is that what it looked like? Jumping on the bed, just whoo. These last two episodes, it was just so much going on. It was like all of this was happening. Marsha was trying to prepare for the Marconis and do their thing.
Oh yeah, it was so, and Delilah was running. It was just mayhem everywhere.
Marsha just all over the place trying to figure out what's going on.
Tony and Francis was trying to leave. Okay, so they were trying to leave, and then she goes to see Carmel, and was like, and Carmel is packing after her Xanadu. She starts packing, and so she comes. She's like, "No, I don't want you to leave," but she's on the stuff. Okay, so now Marsha's on the stuff.
Oh yes, Marsha's on.
And so she's like, no, I don't want, I think I should leave. I really think I should leave. She's like, no, just stay. Just calm down. It's okay. It's fine. I'll be right back. Okay. I got to go do this girl go in the bathroom and put on one contact, which I don't understand what that contact was supposed to help her.
Was she putting the contact in or was she taking a contact out? I was confused.
Oh, maybe she took it out. Because I was like, what is this? What?
Yeah, I think she had a colored contact to cover whatever that was. She looked like, I never seen the movie. Was it Terminator? They had like the little thing. That's what it reminded me of.
Yes, it did look like the Terminator.
She just had this like, not a glass eye. I don't know what you call that, but.
And they did a flashback of the person who shot Masha, and it was like this black dude, okay, with this weird eye. And so when she took it off or on, I don't know, then it revealed to Masha that she was the one that shot her, right? And then she called her I wrote it down, La Posca. And I'm like, why does she keep calling her this? You are not Russian. I don't understand what's going on here. I'm confused. So she was just like, it's okay. It's still fine. I'm glad you shot me because then I wouldn't be here like this. Like I needed that rebirth. You know what I mean? So just stay here. It's fine. So then Glory comes and locks her behind I don't know if they gave her drugs because she just wakes up in the tank.
And they even gave her something.
Okay.
It had to, right? Because yeah, she just wakes up in the tank and she's smiling, having like this nice little memory, and then she snaps again. Yeah. Open this thing.
Like, I'm claustrophobic. Get me out of here. That was the only flashback I remember for Carmel with seeing her daughters because they never showed her husband. They never showed her life. Nothing. So that was the only time she had a little something in the background. And so then she gets out of the tank and she realized she's in a padded room that's locked and she cannot get out. So she's losing her mind, screaming. Which is funny because I thought it was supposed to be soundproof, but people can hear her screaming outside. Because at this time, like Ashante said, all hell is breaking loose. So Tony and Francis are trying to leave. Ben and Jessica, Ben wants to go check on his Lamborghini. They go where the cars are. All of them are gone.
All the cars are gone. Lars had left the Marcones. He was trying to record what was happening to them, but then he left. So they're all meeting and they're hearing Carmel yelling, trying to get out. And then Marsha appears, or they went to go get Marsha. I can't remember. It was so much going on. But either way, she appears, opens.
They went to go get her.
See, she's okay. Everything's fine. And then they're like, we'll just stay here and watch her. Marsha leaves, and I was like, why didn't nobody think to leave with Marsha? Y'all really, everybody needed to be there to watch this one person.
One person.
Marsha locked them all up in the same padded room.
So this, in comparison to the book, is the part where they get locked up in the cave. But that's so early on in the book that this just doesn't make any sense.
I totally thought they weren't even going to do that because I'm like, this is
me too.
So why would they do that now? But
and then she's like telling Yao, all right, it's time to do the protocol. What? You planned this out? How could you plan this out? You did not. How would you know that these people were going to find Carmel screaming? You were going to come. They were all going to go in there. And then you were going to lock them in there and start this fake fire. No.
Too much.
No. I was so confused. I was just like, what? Why did they even need
stuff just started not making too much sense? And it was like, we got to pick some of the other big parts from the book and make sure we put them in here somehow. So they locked them in. The protocol is to make them think that they're on fire. So they're smelling it and they're trying to get out. And then I don't even know what happened because it still didn't, like I said, it actually had a purpose in the book. There really was no purpose of it here.
No way for them to get out. In the book, there was supposed to be a way for you to get out.
There were clues. There were little things. It was like a game.
They were just supposed to sit in there and thought they were going to catch on fire and be hot. And then they were starving in the book. It was like a whole thing. And here it was just like, to me, an afterthought. And then Yao just opened the door. And then they were like, because remember in the book, they found Yao, he was drugged and slumped over and they were concerned, like, wait a minute. Then that's when they realized Masha was crazy, all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. There was nothing like that. It was just open the door. Guys are free to go. Maybe it was after the police came. I don't know.
That's what happened. So the lion made it to the police and then the police came back and then they looked and I think they found them in the room. The ending for me, again, I kind of started tuning out. I was just like, what is happening here? It just started not making a lot of sense. So, but they made it out. Next thing I remember, anything else you want to add about next thing I remember is that Francis and Tony, when they were trying to leave, they were trying to go get dinner. They make it to go get dinner.
Yeah. Well, we can say that Masha did find her daughter, right? It kind of ended with her finding her daughter, and then the police came and she gets put into the police car.
Oh yeah, that's about like the snow thing, right?
Yeah. So that's the end of the retreat basically, and then everybody goes home, I guess. So like you said, Francis and Tony goes to have dinner. And then he falls asleep and she starts writing. And that's it.
And then Ben and what's her name?
Jessica, they take over Tranquillum House. Carmel is like running a shelter or something, or a support group.
Oh yeah, they do these like fast forwards. Like they're doing something. Her and Yao, they're like packing food, something that's helpful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Carmel.
Yeah. Oh, Carmel. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yes, Carmel has some kind of support group, helping people. Yeah.
Said that someone forgave me, so you have to forgive yourself. Girl, you crazy. You need to be locked up somewhere.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Then Delilah and Zhao, they're together running some kind of little. Or working at something packages, I guess.
They're together.
The needy, yeah.
And then Lars and husband, boyfriend, something. I don't know if they were married. Had a baby, and he wrote in the New Yorker about Masha. And then Masha drives off in the Lamborghini with Liane Moriarty's book on the dashboard saying 9 Perfect Strangers.
Yeah, and her daughter in the car.
Yes. So that means she on that stuff.
She's gonna have to stay on it, right? If she want to continue to see her daughter. Yeah. And that was it. That was the movie. The end.
I don't know.
It was craziness. It just was all over the place. It started out like it was going to be like very much in tune to the book. And again, wasn't expecting it to be exactly like the book, but it just kind of started going off the rails. And it just was like, make it make sense. How y'all come up with this?
Oh, I don't know.
It was just so many other storylines from the book that they could have helped and worked with in the story, and they just didn't. But so that was our view. How many crowns?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do our crowns. How many
Oh,
crowns?
okay.
I'll let you go first.
I would give it 3 crowns out of 5 because I thought it was very visually stunning. I believe some of the characters, and it was a fun, trippy ride. It really was. I enjoyed the nose falling off. I enjoyed the bad wig on Regina. I saw the little wig line. I enjoyed um, just trying to figure out what is going on because it was different. It wasn't something like, oh, I don't even need to finish this. I know exactly what's going to happen. I didn't agree with all of the pieces, how they all fit together, but I was looking forward to getting to the end and figuring out how this was going to play out.
Okay. 2.5 for me. Yeah, the half comes from the actors, like some of the main actors. Again, I know it wasn't gonna be exactly like the book, but it just started just going from it just got too weird for me. And I was just like, what in the world is happening here? So it would be like 2.5 crowns for me.
Okay. Well, let us know what you think. Put your ratings below.
Yeah.
And if you have any other suggestions of what we should, read and compare to something that's been adapted into a visual medium, let us know. We might take it up and try it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Let us know. Tell us what you thought of the show. If you read the book, what you thought of the book, your highlights, what if you agree or don't agree with what we said, how many crowns you would give this book. Before we leave though, we do want to remind you to subscribe, share, and like our videos. As Lori mentioned at the beginning, on a campaign to try to get more subscribers. So make sure you hit that button to subscribe and see some of the other content that we have on our show here, the Coley Crowns. If that's it for me. Anything else you have?
I just want to remind you guys to protect your throne.
Okay, I was going there.
Namaste.
Bye.